Good evening. Let's see. All right, cool. We alerted the Discord people that I'm live. I honestly don't know what. Oh, look, GitHub has an official MCP server. Nice. And it's written in Go. That's cool. So where do you put your token? Huh. Yeah, I'm curious how people are handling their tokens here. Okay, they're just putting it right in the file. Okay, that's fair enough. Toad Sage, hey, what's up, man? How have you been? It's been a minute. I'm guessing you've been hard at work, busying yourself. I don't know if you can say the same about me, but I don't normally eat on stream, but I was hungry, so I made some ramen. Nothing much, man. Just same thing as always. Work, family, working out. That's about it. That's about all there is time for these days, man. Streaming a little bit, making some videos every now and again. But yeah, not a whole lot to write home about, really. I wonder why they run this in a container. This is like brand new. Oh, that's the release. Okay, hold on. When was their first release? Oh wow. Okay, well, I'm gonna star this. This might be kind of interesting to use with Claude Desktop. A gym nerd eating ramen. Hey man, it's really cheap carbs. You know what I mean? I'm all about cheap food. My diet's pretty shitty anyways these days. It's kind of more like a dad bod gym diet than a serious diet. Food is just so expensive, man. Groceries are so expensive. It's crazy. I track pretty closely what we spend on all our stuff, you know, like just our spending in general. I track it pretty obsessively, and I can show you like our grocery bill has been like straight up and to the right for the last 24 months. I mean, really since COVID. I mean, it's unbelievable how expensive things are at the store. 60 eggs is still $30. It's like $15 for 4 or 5 pounds of frozen chicken now. It's crazy. Ramen's good though, man. It's simple. You can make it real fancy. You can keep it real simple. I need to go to Japan though and have some like legit street ramen at some point. That'd be fun. I'm guessing that's what you get to eat all the time, Toad Sage. Right? You're in Japan still? Or are you still in Japan? Last time I talked to you, I think you were in Japan. Alright, well, I think I'm going to pick up where I left off last stream. Get branch. Yeah, I would love to visit Japan someday, man. All right. So last time I was here, I should probably make this a little bigger too, huh? There we go. I'm planning to getting PR and shift my family here too. Oh, nice, dude. What's getting PR? Is that like permanent residency or something like that? PR? Is that what that stands for? Do you have a big family that you'd have to like? You have a big, yeah. I mean, I'm sure logistically that's kind of a nightmare. Oh, I don't want to use NeoVim for this. I'm gonna use VS Code because I don't have an LSP set up. Nope. Oh, whoops! I accidentally just kill this. Kill this. Let's see. Oh, that's good. Yeah, man, that that sounds awesome. Where would you live at in Japan? Tokyo? Are you like in a big city? Or out in the countryside? I can't imagine moving to a whole new country. That takes a lot of courage, man. Okay, I should actually, so I can delete this. I actually don't know if I need. I'm gonna remove this really quick. And let's see, I need to open a terminal. Yeah, I can do that here. Okay. So .NET run, no, .NET watch. Project source. That's the reason I was not able to join the stream earlier. Current living in Kyoto because of uni, but planning to shift in countryside area. Oh, nice. Kyoto's like a really old place in Japan, right? Kyoto? Kyoto? Not Kyoto. Oh man, that's $1,000 plane trip to get there 20 hours. It's the capital city of the Kyoto Prefecture. Japan's largest and most populous island of Honshu. Oh, it looks pretty. This looks pretty. The bamboo forest. Have you been there? That looks really cool. Yeah, looks pretty, man. Alright, well, I finally got this thing working. Now I just need to... Okay, let me see if this is still working. Since I removed that interactive render mode. Let's see, I'll inspect. Put this here. Choose a file. Yeah, that didn't work. So I think I do need that. I think that's required. Hot reloaded. Why is that not? It should be logging something here. Yeah, man, it looks super pretty. I'm jealous. Jealous of all your travels. It's not triggering that event. Let's see, logger.log information. I'm here. It's not working. Oh, now it is. Oops. Okay, so once I get the file, there we go. Okay, so we're reading the file. Okay, so we're reading the file on the client. Now that I got the file, I want to send it to my REST API. All right. So laser input file. All right, we just need to read it. Wait using file stream new. The reason of countryside shifting is because farmer brat background. Yeah, I remember you telling me that was kind of the environment you grew up in, right? You're from India, right, Toad Sage originally? So that makes sense. I mean, the thing is, like, just because you live in the countryside or you live in the city, right, doesn't mean you can't take trips to see one or the other. So yeah, I say make your home base where you want it, and then you can always travel to where you want to go. You know. I gotta finish eating these noodles before they go cold. Oh wow, I'm dropping a lot of frames. 204 frames. Wow. Wonder why I'm dropping so many frames. What's the biggest difference from Japan to India that you've noticed, Toad Sage? Alright, I'm done eating. Apologies. I'm just hungry. Okay, now we're gonna focus in here. Alright, so my goal is I want to get the file, I want to read the file, I want to send it to my backend. So we are going to inject HTTP client. And this isn't going to be multiple. This really should only allow a single file. So what we can do is we can say, we can say I'm actually going to call this handle file change. And then we'll say var file equals e.file. I'm trying to hover over these things to get IntelliSense. So this is of type iBrowser file. If the file is null, you can basically just return. Yeah, that's fine. We can log. I don't really think this is necessary, but Okay, now we need to actually construct a request. So let's go to my console app because so at some point I'm gonna make a class library because there is some shared code here that I don't need to rewrite. Yeah, so basically I have to do all of this again. So I should probably create a common let's see. So let's go ahead and say, get a new tab here. Acolyte Zach, Christ is Lord. Hey, good to see you, Acolyte Zach. By the way, you can use Shift K to. Yeah, I know, and that's what I. That's funny that you say that because that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to do Shift K. But I'm in VS Code. I'm using Vim, the Vim plugin in VS Code, and I guess that's not a command that I have. So I probably should set that up because it is like that in NeoVim. I have that set up in NeoVim, but let's see. VS Code, Vim. What do you call that little context window that shows up when you hover? What would you guys call that? Hover. What's up, Artwork Studios? How are you, man? It's been a minute. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've hung out on a stream together, man, so appreciate you coming back. How's it been? I haven't been streaming much at night. That's probably why. Our hours probably haven't lined up. I've been pretty much streaming during the day. Nighttime streams are hard just because that's usually when things are getting quiet, wrapping up. It's hard to get that second wind, to jump back on stream. Yeah, I don't know what I'd call this. Let's see, VS Code, Vim. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's good to hear you're doing well. Yeah, no complaints here. I'm healthy. The wife's healthy. Kids are healthy. After that, man, it's all kind of icing on the cake, Okay, VS Code Vim shortcut to show IntelliSense. I'm not sure what the thing I'm trying to ask for. Hover buffer, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Hover VS Code Vim hover buffer. Let's see, I believe this expanded hover is in the VS Code command ID, show definition preview hover. Oh, okay, yep, that's okay. Let's see if this works. I haven't been using VS Code much, but I've been trying to make it so that I can switch between NeoVim and VS Code and use the same key bindings. I can't say it's going particularly well, but I'm trying to make a run at it. Okay, so we'll say this is going to be before. Dude, Copilot, Copilot is kind of annoying me. Let's see. Copilot. Disable. There we go. Okay. Well, that did not seem to work. Yes, we want not leader. We want control. What do we want? We want Shift K. Yeah, Shift K. So we want just that. And then the commands should be. Let's see if that works. Yep, that worked. Nice. Okay, cool. That's what I was looking for. Although it doesn't let me go. I can't move out of it. Once I show it, I can't. It's kind of what I need. It's kind of what I need. Artwork Studios. I did see some of your streams, but couldn't comment because I was using an old phone. Oh yeah, no worries, man. Artwork Studios. I've never used Copilot before. Copilot's pretty good. It can be a little frustrating sometimes, like when it's like so eager to contribute, and you're like, wait a minute, I know what I'm trying to type here. Just stop. But yeah, for the most part, I pay for it, so yeah, I have nothing but good things to say. Let's see. So in NeoVim, I do this with Shift K. But then I can just move out of it. Shift K and then move out. So why can't I do that in VS Code? Because if I do Shift K, then I'm stuck here. I either have to push Escape. Let's see. See, now I've lost track of what I was actually trying to do, and now I've gone down this rabbit hole of editor configs. Use Shift K again and again. Yeah, that's that's where I'm at though. Like Shift K, I can do Shift K to hover, and then Shift K after this doesn't do anything. So I'm guessing I'd have to do something in my mappings. But I don't want it. I basically just want it to show it, and then the next key I press allows me to still navigate. Artwork Studios. I should make a NeoVim binding for VS Code. Yeah, I mean, I think there's actually a NeoVim plugin that I looked at, and I decided to just use the Vim plugin though, because the NeoVim plugin like actually loads NeoVim into VS Code. And so then you sort of there's some weird stuff you have to do in your NeoVim config to detect if you're in VS Code versus not in VS Code, and I just didn't want to do that. So there really is an extension on VS Code for everything. which is what makes it such an awesome and cool editor to work with. Hello, Boston. How are you, man? Good to see you. Let's see. VS Code commands. Yeah, I kind of want to see. Let's see, VS Code editor.action.show hover. What's show hover? Okay, maybe I do. Let's see what that does. Show hover. What's this do? Yeah, that's what I want. I want show hover is what I want actually. There we go. Yeah, because then I can do Shift K, but then I can still move out of it. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Cool. All right, so this service that I'm looking at right now is basically what I want to inject into this component. Yeah, because rec.image is what? Rec.image is a byte array. Let's see. Let's see. That's another shortcut I should set up is go to references. So let's see. Open user settings. And I want to do before. Not leader RR, but leader GR. Oh, and this should be yeah, that, and then I don't want rename, I want well, what is it? What do I use in VS Code for this? Yeah, GR is what I use. And that's rename. So what's the editor action? VS Code editor action go to references. Let's see, Toad Sage, the extension is for only Vim Motion. Some commands won't even work in VS Code. Yeah, I figured that's probably the case. Artwork Studio is what? Like, I'm guessing, Toad Sage, what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to customize my key maps so that the key maps that I use in NeoVim to call certain things in NeoVim, I just need to make those same things call the VS Code equivalent. Artwork Studios, what are you making though? Oh, I've been working on this. It's kind of a really simplistic application that basically just generates alt text for images. So I can kind of demo it for you real quick. So I have an API out there that takes some information, then it'll make a request off to a foundation model API, and you can give it an image, and it basically wraps that image in a prompt and then says, hey, give me some nice alt text that I can use for this image. Like if you're going to post something on LinkedIn or Twitter or any social media, right, where you can provide alt text for something. And so I built this API, and now I'm building a couple clients for that API. So I built a console application, so I can do something like this, where I say altgen, and then I can pass it the path to an image, and it will send that off to my API. I'm not sure why this is hanging. There we go. And so then what you can do is if I give it the path to an image, let's do like alt gen. Yeah, there's my test image. Here, I'll show you my, let's see, Explorer. Open this guy up. So this is like, so imagine this is my image that I'm going to post. And so now what I can do is I can say altgen, give it that image. Hopefully this is going to work. So then it made a request out to my API, and so it gives me some alt text back. This is super helpful when I'm local here on my laptops where I have a terminal. But when I'm, on my phone or something, I want to be able to have a web app to do that same thing. So I'm building this little simple UI where I can give it a file, and it'll basically do the same thing. Maddox, how are you this evening? I'm doing well, Maddox. How are you doing? Toad says, yeah, you can do that, but that make the VS Code Electron app heavier. I have tried that, but it doesn't work for me. Yeah, so far it's using the Vim plugins working okay. I just haven't been working in VS Code that much. And the only reason I'm working in VS Code right now is just because I don't have a I don't have a Razor language server set up as part of my NeoVim configuration, and I'm building an app, or I'm working on an app right now that is Razor. It's a Razor page or Razor components. So that's why I'm in VS Code at this point. Where was I? Oh, I was trying to find out. Let's see. It's like there we go. Reference information. I'm guessing there's an action though, right? Like VS Code editor.action.go to references or something like that. There we go. Looky there. Okay, let's put that here. Okay, then we just type leader gr. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Although you can't focus on it, which is kind of crappy. Let's see, how do I use it there? Okay, so I need to get the byte. So I need to say var file bytes. I actually think I can do I don't need that enclosing scope. Toadsage, don't you have Mason for fast implementation of language servers? I do, but I don't think Mason has a built-in. Like Razor is pretty obscure in the NeoVim world. That's pretty much only a Microsoft thing, you know. And most people that are using NeoVim these days don't seem to be building a lot of Microsoft-related stuff. Yeah, see, there is no built-in Razor language server. There is one out there. So I've done my research on this, but I haven't gone down the path of configuring it because I haven't wanted to waste the time. There is one out there called Razor LSP. Yeah, but there's another issue where it's like so the other issue with using this is that this is based on using Roslyn as your underlying C# LSP, and I'm not using Roslyn right now. I'm using OmniSharp. So in order to use this, I'd have to migrate my C# LSP to Roslyn and set up this. And I just haven't wanted to take the time to do it. Maddox, I built a script to pull my debit card number off Chrome autofill because I couldn't find my DC and the bank was closed. I was hungry. GP did the start and tweaked. Excuse me, until I got it to function. I had to trick Chrome into reading a certificate to authorize the handshake for HTTPS. Don't ask me exactly how I did it. I was hungry and very motivated. Interesting. Artwork Studios. I wonder if CSS works in Razor. It's separate files. So it's not. So that's actually the way you do. The way it works when you're writing a Razor component is if you want scoped CSS with a Razor component, then you basically end up writing. You basically end up writing a CSS file called home.style.css? Is that it? No, I think it's home.razor.css or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a minute. I did this on my blog though, but that's how when you compile the project, that's how it figures out which scoped files need to be included, and then it bundles that all into a single CSS, and it allows you to have scope styles per component. Let's see, blog. Yeah, so I have it like this on. It's kind of interesting. Blazor's very interesting. It's kind of frustrating working with it if you don't work with it often, but it can be pretty cool. Oh, no, that's not that. I want components, pages. Yeah, so see, you can see like you can have page-specific CSS, page-specific JavaScript, and so these all make up a single component. So yeah, you can do that. Can't write it in the same file, but you can definitely have component scoped files. Artwork Studios. You have a blog? I do, yeah. If you just go to blog.stephenfreeborn.com, I write on there. Usually I try to write on there like once a month. Just depends on what I'm working on or what I'm thinking about. Let's see. We don't need this at the moment, so we can delete this. We may need that at some point, but we don't need it right now. What else does this file have on it? Does this file have its name? File dot name. It has the content type. It has the size. Basically has everything we need. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of refactoring. I'm also going to add a couple inputs here. So I'm going to have an input that's called... this is just for testing purposes. It's not actually going to be like this. So we want to have a label. Let's see, label for provider key. There's some weird stuff that's going on in VS Code with the Vim plugin. Let's see. Then I want to input. The type of this should be password, because this is going to be a masked key. That's kind of interesting. A select option. Yeah. It should probably be a select option because there's only going to be certain types. But for now, I'm just going to make it a text input. Let's see, type. Yeah, provider. I forget how you do model binding. I think it's just like I think I can just bind the value here. I can just do that. Let's see, let's log. Provider. Okay. So test. See, Maddox, sorry I missed you, man. Artwork Studios. Will this be on your blog? What you mean? What I'm working on? Oh, this project? Maybe. It's pretty. It's a pretty. What do I want to say? It's a pretty simple project. And really, the reason I started it was primarily because I wanted something to work on while I was getting my feet wet with NeoVim. But now I'm to the. But any project I start, I always finish it. That's kind of like a rule I have. Is like I don't start anything that I don't finish. And so I've gotten to the point where now it's like this has turned into a little bit more of a chore than it is something I want to keep working on, because it's a pretty simplistic project. But it will solve a problem I have, and it will add value. So maybe I'll write it up. I don't know if it's really anything earth-shattering that people would want to read about, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll write something about how I did the evaluations for the prompt. I can't even pronounce your username. Girid Haran, nice work, but I didn't understand. What are you talking about, man? You didn't understand what I was saying. Oh, yeah. So this is how you inject dependencies. So C# has this idea of dependency injection. Has a built-in support for it, built-in dependency injection container. And so in order for this to work, I need to register the HTTP client. And the way you do that, you come up here and you say builder.services.add HTTP client. And for now, it'll just be a plain client. But in a minute, I'm actually going to inject a strongly typed client, which is a whole nother thing. Artwork Studios. This is far from simple. Well, it's probably not, like, for someone who's never used these technologies before, but like it's literally just kind of a Chat GPT wrapper sort of apps, right? Exposed through a couple different interfaces. But people might find that interesting, so you're right. Maybe I should consider sharing it. Let's see. Some people might get interest out of that. So let's say test. Choose this file. Okay, why is this not getting logged? This was working a minute ago. Oh, shoot. It's because I removed the render mode. I didn't mean to do that. That's why it wasn't working. Here we go. Hold on. Why is this? One or more errors occurred. Cannot provide a value for property. There is no registered service. Oh, I have to do that in both projects? That's annoying. Guess I need to add a package for that. Let's see. Blazor, WebAssembly, add HTTP client. See you, Toadsage. Have fun in your lecture, man. I'm currently working in Kansas, man. That's where I'm currently at. I think he's in his house. Yeah, I'm in my house in Kansas. That's funny. Huh. Let's see what this does. Yeah, it's still failing because it doesn't have an HTTP client. So I guess I just have to register it in the client project, which is kind of annoying, honestly. Let's see, NuGet, add HTTP clients package. BTW Steven, who have fun in lectures, man? I don't know. I had some good lectures, dude. Okay, well you're in Kansas. How is it like? Kansas is good, man. It's just big. It's a large flat area. Nothing really interesting happening. Um Lectures, yeah, I mean I had some really good lectures. My advisor in college was a good lecturer. Dr. James Donaldson. He was really good. I had a really good lecturer in high school. Her name was Miss RG. Um, Her full name was Robinson Gray. Yeah, she was a great lecturer. Does it snow here? Yes, we do get snow every once in a while. We got quite a bit of snow this year. It varies from year to year, but I would say like once a year we get some snow, and then um, every so often we get dumped on. Okay, where? Okay, so now in here I should be able to do builder dot services dot add HTTP client. And I actually don't need to do that here because I'm not using the client on the server. Control R. Believe it or not, I've never seen snow before. Oh, that's pretty crazy. Oh, maybe I have to keep it in both places. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, though, but like where you're from, you're in Malaysia, right? So that's kind of like a warm climate all year round. Yeah, in the Midwest here, we get every season. We can get like all the seasons in one day. It's pretty crazy. Ooh, synchronous reads are not supported. Interesting. I'm learning all kinds of things tonight. Read async. Nice. Co-ops always. If you ever come to Malaysia, the food is great. So what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite Malaysian food? There we go. Okay. We are in business. Although I have way too many browser windows open. If you ever come to Malaysia, the food is great here. It's hard, LO. I'd say Hoki Mi. I probably said that completely wrong. But let's see what that is. So I think I've mentioned this before, Artwork Studio, when you've been on a stream that I used to be a food scientist. And so trying new foods was kind of like a job requirement. So I'm all for exploring new foods. Fujin noodles. That does look good. This looks really good. I'm all for the shrimp. Yeah, that looks yummy, man. Yeah. I wouldn't really consider myself like a foodie per se, but like because I had that job, I've tried lots and lots of different cuisines. Um and so I'm not afraid to try new stuff. So I'll put this one on my list. I need to find a Malaysian restaurant in the US that can do a legit. Ah, man, I'm afraid to. How do you let's see, Google Translate. Oh, Malaysian, Malay. Oh no, I want you to say it.
Hokkien noodles.
Hokkien May. Toad says, Steven, why are you searching about food, man? Because Artwork Studios brought it up and I got distracted. That's why, Toad Sage. You should be in lecture, Toad Sage. You shouldn't even be in this stream. You should be listening to your lecture, taking notes, like a diligent student. Oh wow, it's 10:30. Holy shit. Hour went by quick. Because I recommended it. Yes, because you recommended it. Um Okay, so back to what I was gonna do like 30 minutes ago. So basically what I want to do is I want to set up a common shared library because these are all C# projects. So I should be able to have something like altgen.shared and use that across the different applications. So we'll do .NET new list. I think it's class lib is what I want. Class lib. No, that's Android lib. Here we go. Class lib. That's what I want. .NET new class lib. I'm going to put that in altgen.shared. Oh, there shouldn't be a space there. Toad Sage, he's taking doubts, man. That's why I'm here. Oh, what do you mean he's taking doubts? What does that mean? Okay, so now we have this new class library. And I basically want to move the altgen service into this new library. So we're just going to copy all this. Let's make a new folder. Let's call it generate. Make a new file. Altgen service. Yep, want that. Want this. Somehow, individual doubts from students. Oh, interesting. Artwork Studios. Somehow, I always get you sidetracked. Yep, everyone always does. People ask me stuff or talk about stuff, but that's the whole point of a stream, right? If you really wanted to be just productive and hardcore, laser focused on writing code or building something, you probably wouldn't be doing it at the same time as you're trying to stream, because like part of the stream is being able to interact with you guys. So I don't mind the distractions. Mom and Imran. Hey Steven, quick question. As someone who's too over reliant on AI whilst coding, what do I do to gain back that control? I would turn it off, man. Yeah, just like here, this is what I do. I just go to Copilot and I just say Copilot disable, like that, and then Copilot stops doing it. And what you'll find is whenever you do this, Momin, you'll find that you'll be writing code and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to define a new function. It's going to take in this, and you'll find yourself pausing, right? There's the Copilot pause. You'll find yourself pausing because you've developed this habit of like relying on Copilot to like finish your thought for you. And yeah, whenever I start doing that a lot, that's when I know, okay, maybe I've been working with Copilot a little too long. And so you just have to fight through that, right? And you just have to get back to sort of being really deliberate with your thoughts and saying, okay, I'm writing a function that's called say hello. Say hello is going to take a greeting, a string, which is going to be the greeting, and then say hello is going to print that. And so you just have to get back in the habit of being in control, right? You're dictating your thoughts, what you want to do. And so, yeah, so I don't think there's anything wrong with using AI to code, but definitely if you feel yourself becoming like it's becoming a crutch, yeah, I would just turn it off, you know? It's hard though, because there's sort of like, you're like, as somebody who uses Copilot and pays for Copilot, you're kind of in a catch-22 where if you use Copilot a lot, it does feel really nice. It feels very productive. But then you start to wonder, okay, am I becoming too reliant on it? But then if you stop using it, you're paying $10 a month to have it. So it's like, you're kind of in this catch-22 of like, what do you do? Do you not use it? Do you use it? What I usually do is I find Copilot's really great for doing boilerplatey stuff, and I don't mind giving up some of that control and letting it do the boilerplate stuff. But whenever I get to a point in a project where it's like I have a function that I know what I want to do, I'll just turn Copilot off because it's distracting to me that it's always constantly trying to eagerly complete my thoughts for me, and I'm like, hey, I already have my thoughts. I don't need you to complete them. Artwork Studios, sunk cost fallacy. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I'm paying for this tool, but yeah, at the same time I have reservations of becoming too reliant on said tool. You know, like what do you do? Creepy ghost stories. New to the live. Could you please explain what you're currently doing? Okay, so I am building a project, a very small project that has an API, it has a console application, and it has a web app. And essentially all that does is it takes an image and it sends it off to an LLM and prompts the LLM to generate alt text for that image. And then it returns that alt text to the user. So if you're posting a picture on LinkedIn or you're posting a picture on Blue Sky and you want to be able to provide alt text because you believe in doing right by accessibility things, this kind of can solve a problem. It solves a problem for me, I guess. I always find myself posting things on social media and I know I should write good alt text, but I feel like I'm bad at it. And I think LLMs are better at it, so I'm just going to use the power of generative AI to solve that problem for me. Moment, boilerplate and let it build the skeleton only is great advice. Yeah, like Moment, it's really fantastic. Like if you're writing um, API handlers or API endpoints, and you just need to scaffold that out, or unit testing. Like I use it all the time for writing tests because it will just scaffold out the test real quick, and then I can go in and actually implement it what I want. But there's definitely times where I just turn it off and I'm like, you know what? I just need to prove to myself that I can still code without any assistance. So I'll just turn it off. Especially when I'm learning new things. Moment, like I've been learning Go a little bit on and off stream, and I turn it off when I'm doing that because I don't need Copilot stealing my reps when I'm trying to learn a new language. Like C sharp, I've written tons and tons of C sharp. Um, but Go I haven't, so I just turn it off when I'm trying to learn Go. Creepy Go stories. Is that Visual Studio Code? It is. Yeah, so I've primarily been working in NeoVim most recently. But the reason I'm using VS Code tonight is because I'm using a front-end framework called Blazor, and that has a particular file type called Razor that kind of it's a mix of C# code with markup. And so there's a separate LSP for that, and I don't have that set up in NeoVim yet. All right. So now we've got this. We need to give this a namespace. And then we need that interface, so let's get that interface. Okay. I think there's just one more thing we need here. Yeah, this is the URL. Okay, this is kind of interesting because in my console project, okay, I'm just going to remove this. Okay, and then with that in place, what I can do is I can add a reference. So I basically want to add a reference so that this project references this shared project, I think is what I want to do. Yeah, so I want to say .NET add, and I'm adding it to the web project. That's going to reference AltGen shared, like this. Which means I think that means in my program let's see, AltGen. Oh, actually, hold on. Remove that. And actually, let's add this to the client. Then I can do I alt gen service. Oh, yeah, and that's going to have to be a public. Since this is a shared library now. And this is going to have to be public. I read .net as donut. Nice, yeah. I mean, .net, donut, close enough. No worries, man. If you gotta go, you gotta go, dude. Thanks for hanging out with me, though. Appreciate you. I'm probably not gonna be live that much longer either. I'm gonna try to get this working here, and then I'll probably be on my way. This can take a lambda. So the nice thing we can do here is we can actually configure our client. So we can say something like C lambda, and then we can say C dot base address, and we can set that to HTTPS localhost. Why is that a problem? Oh. New HTTPS. So this will actually come from configuration, but for now we're just gonna take it straight from here. 7297. And then what we can do is in our home component, instead of injecting HTTP client, we can inject an I alt gen service like this. And then oh wow, that really screwed up my code block here. Bro, how many days it took you to learn C sharp? It took me a while. Not a real long time, but it definitely takes. I mean, any kind of language like this that's kind of more it's stronger typed or statically typed. It take a little bit longer to get your head around it. Um, but not too bad. I mean, modern C sharp. If you're coming from TypeScript or JavaScript, you'll pick up C sharp pretty quickly. Like, but for me, C sharp was the first really statically typed language that I learned. I learned it before I even knew TypeScript. But if you already know TypeScript and you're gonna come to C sharp, it'll probably be pretty easy for you to pick up on. Um, let's see that. If I had to say the hardest concept for me, well, the two hardest concepts for me in C sharp when I was learning it was pass by value versus pass by reference, which is that's kind of just a general programming concept, but for whatever reason, when I was learning C sharp, that was difficult at first to understand. And then the asynchronous model, concurrency versus parallelism, which is, again, that's a general programming thing, but each language kind of has its own concurrency model and its own asynchronous programming model. And I know people have varying feelings about C sharp because it is Microsoft, and people have various feelings about .NET as well, because some people grew up writing .NET framework applications, and there was a lot of pain when Microsoft made the move from .NET framework to .NET Core, and then there was a lot of pain involved with .NET Core from .NET Core 1, 2, 3. There was a lot of pain in those upgrades. So if people have been exposed to C sharp prior to like .NET maybe like 5 or 6, they might have some bad taste in their mouth about it, but I'm just such a shill for it. I think more people should be giving it a go in 2025. More people should be trying C sharp and .NET in general. Artwork Studios. The first time I used .NET was during .NET 7. Yeah, for me it was .NET 3. I think was the first time I used it. But yeah, if you've come in like post .NET 3, or if you pick up C sharp for the first time today, I think you'll really like it. What's up, Pablo? Yeah, I'm actually still going at the moment. I'm probably gonna hop off at about 11 p.m., which is about 10 minutes from now. Yeah. Pablo, I won't be trying it anytime soon. Sorry. That's okay, Pablo. I would never make anybody or push anybody. But if you're asking, if anyone was asking, like, is C sharp hard to learn, or should I learn C sharp? I'd be like, no, it's not hard to learn, and you should definitely give it a try. Okay, so what I should be able to do now is in here, I should be able to say bar alt text, and I should be able to say await alt gen service dot, and then I need to pass in some stuff. I need to pass in the provider, the key, the file name, the image, and the content type. And I should have all that now. So the first thing is the provider. Then it's the provider key. Then it's the file dot name. Whoops. Then it's the image, which I have, file bytes. And then the final thing should be the content type, which I believe that's already there for me. Oh yeah, and we should also say if file is null, so if provider is null, or provider key is null, or file is null. And then I should be able to log out. Logger log alt text like that. Oh yeah, 100% should learn at least one object-oriented focused language. Yeah. And you know what? The great thing about C# is nowadays, while definitely it's an object-oriented language, that's where its roots are. There's a lot of functional things you can do in C# now, right? You can pass delegates around and funcs around, and you can, if you want to write an application that has a lot of functional programming in it, you can do it in C#. It's kind of nice. You can do object-oriented stuff, but when you want to do functional things, you want to pass functions around, and you can do that too. Creepy ghost stories. Actually, I'm currently pursuing an AI and ML course. So what are all software will you recommend to a newbie to the AI platform? If you're interested in AI and ML, creepy ghost stories, you should for sure focus on getting really good in Python. I mean, Python or TypeScript. Those two languages, just particularly the AI and the machine learning communities, right? They're super deeply entrenched and have embraced Python. And it seems like TypeScript is becoming more of a thing. But yeah, I mean, C#, you can definitely learn C# to do like application level stuff. But yeah, I just think in any kind of AI or ML world, you're going to immediately run into people who are using Python, right? Especially in any kind of job setting, it seems like you're probably going to need to know some Python. Which is what Pablo already said. So Pablo's already ahead of me with the answer. But yeah, that's where I would start is make sure you know Python really well, and then if you prefer writing TypeScript over Python, right? That's probably a possibility, but I think in a lot of cases you're probably gonna have your hand forced to write Python. And you're new here, so you don't know, but I do know Python. I just don't care. I don't care to work in that language. I would much prefer rather to work in TypeScript if I had a choice. Suhas, hi, good morning. Suhas, yeah, Python, LangChain, Ollama. Yeah, those would be good. Yeah. What Suhas said, those would probably be. Ollama is pretty cool from being able to do things locally. I feel like Google Notebooks, right? Jupyter Notebooks, that's probably important because if you're going to do any kind of fine tuning or training yourself, you're probably going to, unless you have hardware locally that you can do GPU stuff with, but it seems like a lot of people just hook a Google Notebook up to a GPU to do a lot of that stuff. Pablo, in my job, we set up entire services with Python just for the AI part. Oh, interesting. So are you using like something like Django, Pablo, or something like that? You mean you actually have like web services for the AI stuff? Moment. All right, I'm gonna head out. I have a good rest of your stream. Yep, you too, man. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. If you see me live again, come back. We always like to see familiar faces in the chat. Pablo, Transformers. Yeah, you definitely want to learn about Transformers. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's learn more about Transformers. Suhas, PyTorch versus TensorFlow. I don't know if you're asking me, Suhas, because I don't really know either of those things. But maybe you're just saying like if that guy's going to get into, if Creepy Ghost Stories is going to get into ML AI more, he should take a look at those libraries. All right. Pablo, nope, we have Kubernetes and we run a bunch of Go services, RabbitMQ and stuff, and then some Python jobs, read from queues and output to DBs and other jobs. Interesting. Got a mix of stuff going on. Suhas, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I mean, I don't think I'd want to do ML AI. I don't think I want to do that type of work full time, but I do want to know more about it. I want to be able to speak more intelligently about it. All right, this should work, but I need to start my API. Let's see, that crashed. So we need to start that, and then we need to .NET run API. Ugh. So this errored, and I think I know why it errored, but it's kind of annoying I'm having to do this, and I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong. Let's see. Interactive web assembly, no pre-render. I think I don't want any pre-rendering happening on this page, and I think that's why. How do I disable? So I think what I need to do is I think I need to do this. See, Pablo, backend APIs Go, front end is Next.js, they'll mostly use React. Nice. So Pablo, your Next.js, do you guys use server-side rendering, or is it pretty much all client-side? Most of the actual complex stuff happens on those jobs. Interesting. It's interesting that you guys are using, so you're using, it's interesting that you're using Python to handle, to act as queue services. I would have figured you'd use Go for all that. But maybe because those Python jobs are using like specific libraries and whatnot. Suas, I think you should read Attention is All You Need paper on stream if you are free. Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that sometime. It probably will take me more than a stream to get through it all. Suhas, were you part of writing LLM streams? Yeah, I think Suhas was around there then. I'm still working through that book. I think I'm on chapter 4, so I've been working on it off stream. I figure once I get to a point where I'm doing some fine tuning and stuff, that might be more interesting to bring back. Suhas, chapter 1. I'm taking it slowly. Yeah, I'm with you, Suhas. That book is just super dense. Super dense. Pablo, it's because ML stuff is written in Python and those only execute when there's a job to be done. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Although all client side. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you're using Next.js, but pretty much using only client rendering. Yeah, that's interesting. Which is honestly, it's one of the reasons why I don't use Next.js a lot these days, is because whenever I use Next.js, I got kind of tired of the weight of having to think about, like, is it running on the client? Is it running on the server? Yeah, but that's interesting that you guys, I mean, for production, you guys are using client side rendering only. Okay, that worked. So let me go, which means I can pull this out too. Don't need that. All right, now we're gonna see if we can get a request to succeed. If we get a request to succeed, then I can call it quits for the evening. So I need an actual Gemini API key though, so I'm gonna get that off stream so I don't leak my API key. Okay, so I'll paste that here. And this should be masked. Yep, it's masked. Okay, that's good. The provider is going to be Gemini. And we're going to get that same Yoda photo that we were using earlier. Open. All right, so it tried to do something, and it didn't work. Let's see. Oh, good old cores. All right, so we've got to set some cores in our API. All right, let's go back to the API project. All right, and I'll do this differently, but just to get this working, we're going to go in here, and we're going to say builder dot services dot add cores. And then we're going to say app dot use cores. Let's see. Builder. Okay. Const string cores policy name. We're going to call this cores policy name. We're going to say O. Oh, whoops, no, this is wrong. This is going to be builder.services.add cores. add policy. And then the policy let's see. Sorry guys, I wasn't trying to ignore you. Yeah, it's because it's a dashboard. We don't really need the server-side stuff other than as a gate. Yeah, that makes sense. Data changes every time. It's too interactive. Too many things to render. Yeah, and then you just find yourself, back in good old spa world. You know, call an endpoint and paint some data on the screen. Yeah, too much in. Yeah, of course. Do you use a vertical monitor for the streamed window, Steven? No, I don't. I just have two horizontal 27-inch monitors. I would love to have. I used to have two 32-inch monitors, but I gave both of those to my kids. So each kid has a 32-inch in their gaming setup, and then I took the old 27-inch one. So at some point I want to upgrade again, but they work for the moment. So we'll say dot allow any header, dot allow any origin, allow any credentials, allow any methods. And I'll come back and tighten this up because you don't want to be that permissive. I mean, CORS is a good thing for a reason. But in order to get this working, we'll say use CORS, and then we'll pass in CORS policy name. Do you limit your width for the stream? I just use half the monitor. So basically, you know how like on Windows, or I don't think you use Windows, do you, Pablo? But on Windows, when you drag your monitor right to one side of the screen or whatever, it'll automatically just pin it to half of the screen width. And so that's basically how I have it set up. So it's just, you can see you guys see half of one of my monitor screens, and then I have basically 3 other halves that I can work with. And it works for now. Hopefully I'll get to a point where I don't have to, like, I do vertical streams right now because that seems to get me, like, gets my stream surfaced to more people. But eventually, maybe if I get enough subscribers, I have a large enough viewership, I'll go back to doing horizontal streams. But right now my problem is just kind of discoverability, and so vertical streams seem to work better for discoverability. I have used Windows. Don't use it much these days, but definitely have it installed. Yeah, that's Suas hit on the nail. That's basically why I do this vertical streams. Is purely just whenever I do vertical streams, I get way more engagement and viewership than when I do horizontal, which makes sense. I mean, YouTube seems to be really pushing the shorts content, so it kind of makes sense that you would show up there. And it's different, you know? I mean, there's a lot of people streaming horizontally that are doing coding and programming related content, so it differentiates me a little bit, I feel like. Okay, so now we need to go back to my... Let's see, this needs to be run again. .NET run project. I think we're getting close to getting this working. .NET run AltGen web. And then this guy, I'll restart, and this should get rid of that CORS error. Oh shoot, I broke it. The CORS protocol does not allow specifying a wildcard origin and credentials at the same time. Okay. I guess they're trying to protect us from ourselves. So we'll do allow any origin. We don't even need to worry about credentials because the API is not protected. So there we go. Okay, so we've got our little UI here. And we'll bring up the console. Then I need to grab that API key. So I'll put the API key here. Gemini is our provider. There we go. Booyah. There's the alt text. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll need to pretty this up. We'll make this pretty. These two fields will go away. Yeah, these two fields will go away, and what we'll do is we'll basically have like a gear icon where we can configure a list of providers. And then we'll be able to select a default one. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just have a selector on here that populates with the default provider if you have chosen a default. Otherwise, you can pick a configured provider, because I don't want to every time I do this, I don't want to have to enter a key and a provider. I want to just be able to have a provider already set and then give it an image. Okay, cool. Well, guys, I actually got something done. Pablo, I was surprised to find a vertical stream. Yeah, it's just different. You don't see a lot of people doing it. Pablo, by the way, Cores is great. It's easy to implement. It wasn't as painful as CSP when I had to implement those. Yeah, Cores is one of those things that stumps a lot of web developers, but it seems like a lot of frameworks now have pretty easy built-in ways to deal with it. Like in .NET world, this is all configurable. So all these methods, you can create multiple different policies, and you can apply the policies conditionally, and you can do this all through configuration. So you can just have this set in your configuration file, and you can say allow, what is it? I think it's allow any origin, and then I think you can set the origin here. Yeah, I think you can set the origin p dot with origins, and then you can pass in a list of origins that are allowed. You can do that with the methods. So they have a really nice way of handling it. Let's see. To do make cores more restrictive. Only allow calls from the web clients. And then let's add a to-do here. Let's see. Present on the screen to the user. And then in our program, do read base URL from configuration. We also need to migrate the console. Let's see. Use shared library version of this service. Yeah. Okay. Well, looky there. We got something done. Shut these down. Shut that one down. Content security policy. Yeah, if you want to, yeah. Yeah, SOC 2. Yeah, our company went through SOC 2 a year ago, 2 years ago. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Pablo, do you track your progress in any way? Not on personal projects usually. I usually just use to-do notes in the code and then my own memory of where I was. Depends on how big the project is, though. Sometimes I'll lay it out like in a README or an Obsidian note file. Like I'll kind of try to lay out what I want to do. This project, I did it in Excalidraw. Like I just kind of diagrammed out what I wanted this to look like. And then I've just kind of been roughly roundabouts implementing that. It's all just very dependent, you know, because if you have a project that has really straightforward requirements and has very clear deliverables, you know, somebody handed you if somebody handed you an actual specification, right, I'd probably break it down and have a lot more detail tracking. But when it's a project you're building and you don't really have like you kind of have an idea, but you don't really know, you're gonna sort of vibe it out. Then I just do what I remember needs to be done and add to-do notes. Like I know one thing I need to do is I'll need to add a test library for this. I'll need to add a test project for this front end. So I'll probably get that set up next time too. Because you should always write tests. So yeah, I'll do that at some point. Haven't been able to make Obsidian. Yeah, I use it mostly for note taking, Pablo, honestly. And it has an Excalidraw plugin, which I've been using more and more than just using the Excalidraw website. But for right now, for me, it's really just kind of it's like a note bucket, you know, for around books and videos and whatnot. All right, guys. Well, a 2-hour stream for me is a long stream, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, sticking through it with me. I'll be back tomorrow though, so if you guys are around, I'll probably be on in the morning and then again in the afternoon. So if you guys are around, stop in, say hi. Pablo, Suhas, I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your days. And I'll see you again. Bye, y'all. See you guys.